Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know where you are joining from. And if you're watching the replay, put it in the comments. Let me know where you joined from. But today we are diving into our How to Organize Your Life series. We're actually at the halfway point. So today is the 13th video, and I have already done 12 videos. We have 12 more to go. So we are exactly at the halfway point in this series. So I wanted to do a recap. I wanted to do a recap of where we are currently and also talk about the things that are coming up within this series. So if you have just started out or you've been watching the entire time and you want to kind of know what this entire series is about, or this is your very first video and you're just still trying to figure out what I'm talking about at all, this particular session will be a recap to kind of walk you through the process of everything that we've talked about and walk you through what we're going to talk about moving ahead. So, let me tell you really quick how this is going to go. So, because we're on live, I definitely want to answer your question. I want to answer all of your questions. But I want to make sure that if you are watching the replay that you're able to kind of hear everything that I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do is dedicate the first 30 minutes of this live to going through our recap. I'm going to kind of tell you all about the series, tell you my thought process behind the series, and walk you through what we've done so far and what we're going to do. And then in the second half, the second 30 minutes, I'm going to answer all of your questions so that I'm not stopping in between. That just helps the people who are watching the replay, so they're able to get all of the information, and I don't have to keep stopping in between. So if you have a question, please save your questions. Please save them. And then when we get to like the halfway mark, right after I do the recap, I'm going to answer any question that you have had. It could be about the series, or you could just have a question. And if you want me to answer it, no problem. That's why we're here. Okay. So let's jump into what we have done so far. I'm going to pull up the classes and what we have done so far and kind of walk you through this entire process. Thank you so much. I actually took out my hair today. I washed my hair. It was a big thing for me. But let's walk through this entire process of what I did. So, how to organize your life. Why did I start this? Why did I start this series? I wanted to give you all a spot or a playlist of getting yourself organized from beginning to end on paper if you've never done it before. And so I know a lot of times when people are asking me questions, they're asking me about my planner, they're asking to be about my routines or my habits or my goals, and how did I decide this and how did I figure this out, and all of these questions. And I wanted to have something to where I could say, start here. Like, look at these videos, and this will help you kind of walk throughout the process. And I felt like this was the perfect time to do that because it's the end of the year. And since it's the end of the year, you're going to be able to like follow along with what you need to do to get set up for the brand new year. Okay? So, that was the idea behind this series. That's why I decided to do this series. When we first started off, we started off with the how to organize your life categories. So when we started these sessions, the very first thing that you need to do whenever you're trying to decide like what to organize or how to get yourself together is think about your life in sections. Think about your life in the categories that compromise of your life. And to each one of us, this is different, right? So for me, I have my personal life, right? Which could consist of my home, my health, my family, all of that could be under my personal life. I also have my business, where I have my business, my social media, products, and all of the things that have to go, speaking engagements, all of that that goes under my work life. Then I have my faith. So I have my spiritual life. I have my personal development, where I may want to continue to learn and to read and to do different things, right? I have my money, so budgeting and business budgeting and all of that. But I think about my life in categories. I think about my life in categories because when you think about your life and you just try and think about all the things that you have to do, I feel like that causes you to get overwhelmed. And I used to get major anxiety just thinking about all the things that I had to do all the time. When I started to break it down into small things or small categories, like, okay, what do you need to do just for your house? Like, just for the house, what do you need to do? And what do you need to do just for the family? And what do you need to do just for your budget or just for your money, or when it comes to your schedule or when it comes to work? And then I was able to like just break it down by those specific categories. It helped me to process it a little bit easier and keep things in my mind a little bit better. So that's why we started with this specific step. So when it comes down to like all of these videos, of course, they're all in a playlist now. So if you missed any of the ones that I'm talking about, then you can definitely watch the entire playlist, and I'll add the playlist into the stream toward the end of this class. But the very first thing I told you to do was to categorize your life, to think about the different categories. Now, just because you came up with different categories does not mean you have to have planners for each one of these. I like to have separate planners just because that's the way my mind works. But you do not have to have separate planners, because I know a lot of people who all of those planners overwhelm them. You can do all of your planning in one planner. Just because we talk about multiple categories does not mean it does not equal multiple planners. It's just literally thinking about the separate things that you have going on and writing them down. That's all we're doing in this particular step. So in that video, I walked through 12 of my life categories. And this was just to help you think about your life categories. The next thing that we did was actually go through my planner lineup. So I went through all of the categories and the planners that I decided that I was going to use for 2022 for those planners. Like I said, you don't have to have all of the planners. But I did want to share the ones that I was using because a lot of you are actually interested in that topic. So even if you don't use multiple planners, you may just try and figure out, how do I use this planner, and how you could combine it into one planner. But we walked through my lineup and I showed you how I was using a specific planner and associating it with a specific life category. Then we dived into routines. So when it comes down to anything that you do in your life, you have to have a goal, you have to have a habits, and you have to have routines. This is the way to create consistency across the board. So in these videos, when we talked about all of the different areas that I have all of these life categories, and then I'll have different goals that I want to achieve in specific categories, right? And not every single category I have a goal. For the most part, I only have like 5 major goals across the board. But it all starts with what areas are super important to you and what do you want to achieve in those areas. So we talked about creating a goal, creating the thing that, what do you want the most, and writing that down. That's where we're going to start. What do you want the most? Let's write that down. Then we created the habits from that particular goal. Okay, if you want to save $5,000 by the end of the year, that's the goal. How much are you going to save per check in order to achieve that particular goal? Right? I have to save $200, or depending on how often you get paid, right? And then, okay, now after you have the habit, I'm going to save $200 every single time I get paid. Then you set the routine. The routine is, when are you going to save that $200? Because if I say, oh, I'm going to save $200 every time I get paid, but I don't actually have that within my things to do when I actually get paid, like pay my bills and save this money, then I still may not do it. But the routine tells you when you're going to do it. So the habit is to save $200. The routine is, I'm going to save $200 every other Friday when I get paid. So the goal is to save $5,000, $10,000, whatever that big goal is. The habit is the thing that you need to do. I have to save $250 every single check in order to achieve this goal. And then after that, the routine is, I'm going to save $250 every other Friday until the end of the year in order to reach my goal of saving $5,000 or $10,000, right? So we went through that process. So if you missed those videos, make sure that you check them out. I did my morning planning routine, where I shared with you how easy and quick my planning routine is. My planning routine only lasts 30 minutes every day. And if I am really taking my time and just wanting to lounge around, it could last an hour, but it does not have to last an hour. I can be done with my entire planning routine in 20 to 30 minutes. And so it doesn't have to be long for it to be effective. We talked about that as well. Then we went into how to organize your goals. So I talked about my top 4 goals that I have, and I also went through my 5 financial goals. So I have 5 financial goals that I talked about, and then I have 4 life goals that I talked about, and I talked about how they work together. I talked about the process of setting up those goals and how I think about them. Then we went into my habits, like how I create the habits that's going to help me achieve the goal, because the goal is the big thing. We talked about how the goal is the big, really big thing that you want to achieve, but the habit is the daily task or the small thing that you can do on a daily basis in order to achieve that goal. The goal may be to lose 10 pounds, but the habit is to work out every day, or to work out for, I'm gonna work out for 30 minutes. And that's going to be the habit, is the working out part. The goal is to lose 10 pounds. Then we went into routines, right? I talked about routines, and routine is the win. It's the system of how this habit is going to get done on a daily basis. So the goal is to lose 10 pounds. The habit is to work out every day. The routine is to work out at 7:30 every day by going for a 2-mile jog, right? So we are putting them step by step. And then once you get to the routine, you're able to do this on a consistent basis because it's already laid out for you. You already know the habit, you know the routine, you know when you're going to do it. All you have to do now is push yourself to actually do it, in which we're going to talk a little bit more about motivation as well. Like, I know we haven't gotten there yet. That's probably coming up. But as of right now, we're just talking about the act itself, like how to set it up to where you are actually streamlining yourself for success. So we start off with the big thing that we want to achieve, then we go into the habit, and then we go into the actual goal. I mean, the routine. All right. So that is where we are. That is everything that we have talked about so far, right? So we have gone into the habits, the routines. We have set up our life categories. We know what we are going to, organize, or the areas that we want to organize. And now this week, we are about to get into personal life planning. Personal life planning. So with your personal life. Your personal life for me includes your home. It's going to include your health, your meal planning, your family planning, your project planning. We're going to talk about projects. Um, all within this week. So today is the recap where I introduced the personal life. If you missed yesterday's video, yesterday is where I shared my classic planner, my classic happy planner, the Franken plan system. So what I decided to do is actually separate my planners. So I have my big planner, which let me take you off. Let's see. Okay, I have my big planner here, which this is my big Franken planner. It currently has about 10 sections in here, but it has my money, my routine, my routines, my money, my schedule, and anything related to work, all within this one book. It has multiple sections. I'm probably going to end up doing an updated flip through, but this week we are going to be in this Franken planner, which the video that came out yesterday was on this setup. So I decided to pull out my personal life, meaning my home, my family, my meal planning, my health, my home cleaning. All of that is in this planner now. It's pretty small because it has like 5 or 6 sections in here, and all of them are not planners. All of them are not planners. Like even my cleaning section, it's just a section where it's more like a notebook. So last year, this was just my home notebook. But I have decided to make it more of personal planning slash notebook. And we are going to dive into these sections and how I use them this week. So when we're going into personal planning, we are talking about your family. Like, how do you plan and set up for events for your family? How do you organize your kids? How do you, if you have kids, how do you organize yourself and your spouse? How do you plan date nights? How do you make sure if you're married that you are connecting with your spouse? Meal planning and family projects and home projects and cleaning routines, and all of that is what we're going to get into this week. So this is self-care, health, making sure that you're staying on top of all of that, along with your family and your meals and your cleaning and stuff like that for your home and space, right? So this is how I am keeping track of all of that. And I did a video yesterday where I showed you how I set this up, where I literally put it completely together. I, put the disc on and I showed you all of the sections that are in this particular planner. So if you missed that one, you can definitely look at this one. But this week, we are going to be diving into. Tomorrow's video is going to be on how to organize your family. And I'm going to be talking about how I organize and make sure that I stay on top of the different things that I need to do with my family, mainly making sure that we're spending quality time together, because I feel as though a lot of times life just starts to kind of speed up and you really start to lose track of the last time you did stuff with your family where it's just y'all connecting. So I really try my best to make sure that we do one day a week where we're doing some type of family time. Usually for us, that's on a Friday or a Saturday, and we will do something. We will plan something. So I talk about that in that video that's coming out on tomorrow. Then on Wednesday, we're going to dive into meal planning because I purchased the Happy Planner meal planner this year. Now, this is the first time I'm actually using a meal planner. Usually, I will just use the insert sheets, but I wanted to dive more into making sure I was planning out all of our meals and not just dinner, because sometimes we won't have snacks in the house. And sometimes I just wanted to get a little bit more on top of the snacks and breakfast and lunch and dinner, like all of the meals. So we're going to talk about that process on Wednesday. I'm also going to get into my cleaning routines and how I can kind of keep the house together. I will say this, it doesn't stay together all the time. And if you are a part of the Organized You, tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit about that idea or the myth of balance, because it is. I think that we have this impression that you're supposed to be able to do it all at the same time. And sometimes one area will kind of drift off because another area has something that's really important going on. And that's okay. And that is okay. Because if I'm not going to start cleaning up if my kid needs me, right? Like if one of my babies need me, then I will stop everything that I'm doing in order to make sure that I am taking care of her. So we're going to dive more into that in tomorrow's class with Organize You. But I did want to mention that because we are going to talk about cleaning routines. I am going to tell you about my specific system. Just don't think that it happens all the time, because it does not happen all the time. But I do try my best to not let the house get overboard. And my husband is on board. My kids are on board. This is not just me. I will set up the system, but it is a group effort to keep the house together, right? Balance is a myth. I want all the help. We're delegating around here. I'm not trying to be superwoman. Help me. I need you to do some stuff too. Okay. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about these systems. I do not want you to think that I'm doing all of this by myself. I am not. My husband helps out a lot when it comes to our house. So do my kids. I put them to work too. They do laundry. We have a group effort. We have charts and chores, and in our family meeting, we decide who's going to do what at the beginning of the week. But I will share with you how I decide on the exact routines, even though I'm not doing all of the routines on my own. Okay. And we're also going to get into personal projects. So there are different things around the house that I just like to take on as an organization project, just because. And so, you know how you're just constantly improving different rooms and different things in your house. And so that is have been a big part of my journey over the last couple of years. I have been big on decluttering and getting rid of a lot of stuff. I am more on the minimalist side when it comes to home organization. When it comes to my planners, I am not a minimalist. I love all the planners. I love all the things. But when it comes down to the home decor and what we keep, when it comes down to that stuff, I am more minimal decluttering. And so we've been decluttering for quite some time. So I will talk a little bit about that process too. On Saturday, we're going to get into your health. And this is just your overall health. I am not talking about just losing weight or just doing one particular thing or another. I am literally talking about your health as a whole. So we will get into self-care. We will talk about how I make sure that I am scheduling spa appointments. I have a facial scheduled tomorrow. Like, I really try my best to still take care of myself personally so that I can be the best version of myself for my husband, for my kids. And I feel like that's how it works across the board. If you're taking care of yourself, then you're just the best version of yourself for everyone else. So it works out both ways. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about your health, and how to make sure that you're staying on top of that. I do have a health planner that is coming in as well. And usually in the past, I have not had separate planners for each one of these areas, but I have decided to put more of an effort into these areas in my life. I feel like I was very focused on work and I wasn't as focused on personal life. I was with family, but not as much with home and meal planning and all of the other areas. So I am making more of an effort for 2022. So I'm going to share that journey with you. I'm definitely going to share that journey with you so that you can see my process and you can see and we're just going to be doing it together. And I'm going to share with you what works and what doesn't work, right? That worked for me, that did not work for me, and that's okay. And then on Sunday, in Sunday's video, I'm going to dive into a day in the life of my planner. So it's really, we're really going to start getting into all the how all of it works together, right? We've talked about habits, routines. I'm going to be talking about home organization and meal planning. And I know to the average person, it's going to be like, oh my God, this is so much, this is so overwhelming, I just can't, right? But I want to share with you in that video, like in the day in the life video, how it's small things. It sounds like a lot. I know it sounds like I'm doing a bunch, but it's not as big as it sounds. It's just I've just gotten accustomed to doing it in very small ways. So my cleaning routine is like a 20-minute routine that I do in the morning and a 10-minute routine that I do in the evening. My meal planning happens on a Sunday, and me and my husband both cook, right? The kids will help out with cleaning their rooms, and my husband helps out with laundry and dishes. Like, it's not just one person that has to do it all. You don't have to do it all. We can figure out a way to create this system where everyone is working together, where we're all working together. Okay, so that is what we are going to be talking about this week. And like I said, my entire system is in these two books. I have my classic and my big. And this week we're going to be all in the classic. And then when we get to Sunday's video, I'm going to show you how they kind of work together, So, you know, and so we're going to get into that. Tomorrow in Organize You, we're going to be talking about the myth of doing it all, because I really want to dive into that with all of you who are in Organize You. So make sure that you check the membership site to get the link to this video, because we will be on live tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow, this particular week. All right. So now that I've gone through all of that, we talked about all the things that we have done. I am showing you my system this week of my classic planner and all of the things that we're going to be talking about next that's coming up this week. I want to know, what are your questions? Do you have any questions about any of the things that we have talked about so far? How are you feeling? Are you setting up your own system? Do you feel like it's working? It's not working? Let me know. All right. What time will you be posting so we can plan for it? Every single day, I post at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. And I guess that's 2 Pacific time. Yeah. So it's 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So that is the time that you can set. Oh, I like that, Tay. So Tay just did this. If you have a question, put the hashtag Q and colon so that I can see it. It makes it much, much easier for me to see it. So if you have a question, please do this. Thank you, Tay. That's a great, great, great suggestion. And this just helps us, or you could write in all caps. That works as well. You can write in all caps. Either way, I just want to make sure that I'm able to see your questions. All right. Let's see. Did you already, I don't know, tingle between all of those planners? So these particular planners I did set up in 2 separate videos. The very first one was set up in, let me see if I can show you this video. It was in this video here. It's called my 2022 planner lineup. That's this one that I am currently using. So and let me tell you, when it comes down to these planners, and I know I think someone else may have asked this as well. When I am not in all of my planners every single day. I am not in all of my planners every single day. So there are about 4 planners that I am in every single day. Very first one is my catch-all planner. I am going to be in that one because that's my hourly, that's my schedule. The second one is my budget planner, and I am in that one for about 10 minutes because I'm just updating my expense tracker. That's the only thing that I'm doing is updating my expense tracker. The third one is my faith planner, because my faith planner is where I'm writing down my scripture and just doing my Bible study. Once again, 10, 15 minutes. And the fourth one is my business planner. Those are the only four. And as you can hear, even with those four, two of them I'm only in for like 10 minutes. My catch-all planner and my business planner are the ones that get a majority of my time. The other ones I might look at once a week, other than my budget and my other than my budget and my faith planner. So when you're thinking about it, yes, I have a nice number of planners, but when it comes down to how often I'm in it, normally it's only once a week, unless it's those four. Unless it's those four. So if you're thinking that, oh my goodness, that sounds so much, you must spend so much time. I really don't. And that's why I wanted to do the day in the life, because I feel as though a lot of people feel like, it takes so much time when really it doesn't. It doesn't. All right, let's see. Wait. How many months do you have in each section? 1 month. 1 month in each section. So I only keep the current month um, for that particular planner. So that's why with this one, I want to say it's 10 sections in here. But if you think about it, if you have 10 sections, but if it was one planner, it would be a 10-month planner, which is why it doesn't look as big. Like these are still regular discs, not expander discs, and it still looks pretty small. And even with this one is like 5 sections. So it's really slim. It's very slim because even though it's multiple planners, it's only 1 month from that planner. All right. Um, Planned and actual never seem to match up. Any suggestions for getting them to match up better? What like your planner, oh your plans and your actuals don't match up. I'm assuming that you mean you will plan things out, but then what actually happens never really happens. And I can, if that's the case, then yes, that is that is absolutely the case. And for me, none of mine ever, I never have a day where everything goes as planned. Like it never happens. My day always gets mixed up. But that's the point. We plan different things. We have to make adjustments as they go. And then as we make adjustments, we just move things over. Like we talked about this before, but I'll say it again. You want to be a palm tree, not an oak. So with palm trees, they go with the wind, right? We're moving with the wind. Things are going to happen. We have to be flexible throughout the course of our day. And things come up, life happens. It's okay. But when you are an oak and you're firm and you don't want nothing to ever change, and you want your plans to go exactly as you have written them down, then that's when you run into the issue of planning, because it doesn't work out that way. It just doesn't. So whenever you are more flexible, then it helps you to be able to move things around as things come up. All right. So just make sure that you keep that in mind, that you have to be flexible, that plans, I don't think I've had a day, maybe once in probably the 5 years that I've been planning, has one time my day gone exactly as it's planned. And if it has gone, then, it is definitely once in a lifetime. It does not happen often. When you talk about sections, what pages do you include? All the month for each or just the current week? Hi from Buenos Aires. Hi. So I include 1 month, 1 month from each section. So if I am talking about my business planner, I'm going to have the month of December for my business planner. Right. So I am like 1 month from my business planner, 1 month from my personal planner, or 1 month from my budget planner. It's just the entire month of December for all of the sections of my life. So that's how it's set up. Do you do quarterly goals? Do you separate work from personal? Yes, yes, and yes. So, quarterly goals, I like to break down my goals. So, my goals are at the very front of my planner. And I talked about it lightly where I just set the goal for the year. So these are like my annual overall the year goal. But I will break these down even further, right? And I'll say, okay, so if one of my goals is to read the entire Bible in a year, where do I have to be by the end of the first quarter in order to make that goal happen? It's like one of my goals every single year. But like even though I do it on a consistent basis, I might say, okay, I want to read 20 books. All right, how many books do I need to read by the end of the first quarter in order to make sure that I'm going to read all of these? If I say, okay, I need to read at least two a month. All right, so then I set it out. What two am I going to read for the first month? And then what two I'm going to read the month of February and then the month of March, right? To make sure that I am staying on top of it. So the annual goal is broken down into the quarterly, and then it's broken down to monthly, and then it's broken down to daily goals. So it's like it's the best way to make sure that you're actually staying on top of it all. And yes, this right now is my personal life. This right now, it's work, money. It's kind of like everything else, but my personal life is in here, and then everything else is in the bigger one. But yes, they are separate. They are separate. All right, let's see. Make sure you put the hashtag Q. It really does help me. When when do you begin planning for a new month? When do you review to finalize it? So I begin planning for the new month at the last week of the current month. So right now we're around the 13th, 15th. Next week, when we get around the 25th, 26th, so right after Christmas holidays, I will start planning for January. That's where I will actually set it up. Now, what I have started doing is I have, because I don't have a full planner in my planners. Like I don't have next month. Like I told you, I have 1 month. So I do have at the very front of my planner a section in this is in my daily planner actually, where I will keep track of what's coming up the very next month. So I have December in all of these other planners, except my daily planner is the month of January for the month, right? And so that way I can kind of keep track of what's coming up. It's like my future dated planner. So that way I'm able to write things down of what's coming up in the next month, and then I'm able to add it to my planner when I am planning January. Because I know a lot of times I get a lot of questions about how am I able to plan ahead. So I will use my sidebar on the current month to plan ahead, and then I will also use um, a separate future planner, is what I call it, my future planner, and it's my next month. So I'll keep what's coming up in the next month on there as well. And sometimes I will also print out if I have something that's coming up way along, like further ahead, maybe a couple months ahead, I may print out the planner. Like I'll print it out from Google, add it into my big planner, and then I can keep track of anything that is going up, right? Do you always sit at your desk when you're using your planners? No. So I will sit at my desk, of course, when I'm talking to y'all. I will sit at my desk when I am filming, but I have also sit in my front room if it's in the morning time. Usually I will do my morning routine at my dining room table. So I've done a couple of videos there as well. So if you actually go to the planning morning routine video, you could see that I'm sitting at my dining room table. The other place I will be is in my bed. So when I'm doing my nighttime routine and I'm planning for the next day, I will usually take my planners up and I will review what's coming up in the next day. And I'll do that in bed. I put my planners on a nightstand. I go to sleep. When I wake up in the morning, I just pick them up and bring them downstairs with me when I'm coming back to my office. All right. Okay. How do you decide the best page layout for what you do? I love time blocking, and my planner is mainly business. and home, but I run 3 businesses. So this is only through experimentation. So the best way to decide your page layout, and I have tried probably almost every layout Happy Planner has. I've tried it. And I'm currently, if you follow me on Instagram, then you'll see that I am testing out right now the teacher planner for my social media. So I have always used the dashboard layout for social media. But I just recently decided to split my business and my social media planner. And so I am trying out the teacher layout for social media. And I haven't done this in a very long time, but I like to experiment. And I think that we feel like we're failing if we are switching. Like, oh, if I try out different things, then that means I am failing at doing this because I'm not good, because I can't stick to anything. But if it's not working, switch it. If it's not working, I have no problems changing it up. And if you don't want to buy all the things, because I definitely understand that, you can look up different layouts on Google and print them out. Like I printed out the teacher layout before I purchased this one, put it in my big, and just tried it out. Because the big is 8.5 by 11, so you can print it on regular printed paper, try it out, see if you like it before you buy. But I tried, and I still use the dashboard layout for my business planning. I have my teacher layout for my social media, and then I have vertical, I have the hourly. Like, I have a little bit of everything for different aspects of my life. And it works. It all works. Like, I love them all. So you have to experiment to see what works for you, because just because I love hourly, I know a bunch of people that they just don't like the hourly. It doesn't work for them, but it has always worked for me. Once I got into it, it just always did. So you definitely have to try it out, right? You have to try it out. Okay. What percentage should be used for each categories? My paycheck fluctuates wildly and it's hard to find percentage guidelines. So I would suggest, if you are looking for budget guidelines, I believe I have a video on this. I would have to go back and see. But I there are, like, you could do 10% savings, but I would highly recommend that you actually look at what you're currently doing. So how do you do that? You look at what you're currently spending all of your money on, how much you're paying for bills, and then look at what those percentages are right now. What's your percentage for food? What's your percentages for currently bills? Because it's going to be hard to change that percentage. Let's say if your food percentage is 50% and you're trying to go down to 10, that's going to be a difficult shift if you're just instantly trying to do it. You kind of have to work your way back down. So what I like to do is not to give blanket numbers. There are a bunch of, the 50, 30, 20, they have a whole bunch of them out there. But I would rather ask, where are you currently, and are you happy with those percentages? If you're not happy with those percentages, then try and reduce them by 10% until you get to the percentages that you are happy with. So if you want your variable spending, if you're currently spending 40% on debt and you want to get that number to 30% on debt, all right, how much extra? Is there another area where you can take 10% from? Can I reduce my food budget from 40% to 30 and add that to my debt budget instead, or debt category instead? So there are blanket numbers or blanket percentages out there. I just don't like to use them. I like to look at the specific budget percentages that you currently have. Like, what are you already spending your money on? And then if you're not happy with those, and I'm not talking about your paycheck, because your income is different from what you're actually spending your money on. So if you're going vastly over your paycheck income, then we need to like look and see how much are you currently spending it on versus how much is your actual income, and then what are your problem areas. Let's identify them, and then we can adjust those categories. But it starts with the spending. Whenever you're doing a budget, it doesn't start with your income. It starts with what you're currently spending your money on, because we think we're going to be able to make these big drastic changes, but we have to know where we are before we can figure out where we're going. Right? So make sure that you look at that. Do you recommend buying separate planners to set up your primary planner? It depends. It depends on your personality. So, if you are the type of person that likes to categorize different things and you do not like to see what overwhelms you, I guess is the best question. So, for me, for instance, when I had everything on one planner and I had one, one hourly planner. I think at the time I had Erin Contract, and I was trying to fit my meals, I was trying to fit my health, my personal planning, my business planning. I was trying to fit everything into this one planner. It was driving me nuts. Like I was losing it because every time I would look at this one planner, I would see all the other things that I wasn't doing. And it made me focus on what I wasn't doing instead of what I could do. So I like to have separate planners for that particular reason. Now, I do have a catch all planner, but with my catch all planner, it does not have the details. So I will have work from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. or something like that, right? And if I have work during that section, then that just tells me to head over and look at my business planner. But I'm not going to put all the tasks that I need to do in that time frame, because if I did that, it would overwhelm me. It would make me feel like I'm not doing enough. However, if having separate planners overwhelm you, because there is the opposite side of that where somebody wants to see, I'm like, another person wants to see all the things they need to do in one spot. They do not want to have to look in multiple places because that overwhelms them. So buying separate planners or having multiple planners, it's such a personal decision, because for some people, having separate planners give them peace. For other people, having separate planners overwhelms them. I like to have separate planners and to keep them all franken-planned or combined into one book, or in this case now, two books, right? So this is my entire life. This is everything that I need. And I love being able to flip in between the different sections, but that is not the case for everyone. I definitely say experiment, try different things out. I feel like I've tried every planner that there is to try. Like, I think that now people just like, oh, you've always been with Happy Planner, but I have not. I've been a Happy Planner specific disc bound planner for about 4 years now, 4 or 5 years. But before that, I was spiral bound, and I tried rings for a minute, and I had a bounded system, and I tried it all. And then I just kept coming back. I kept coming back to the disc bound planner. I kept coming back. And then I realized this is my system. I don't have to keep trying, because every time I keep trying, I just keep coming back. So if you try different things and you just keep coming back, and you keep coming back to this one, you keep coming back to spiral bound, you keep coming back, then that will help you to know, okay, no, this is the thing, right? Um, I am working on my planners, but can't decide which way to go to set it up. I don't know if I want a happy planner or to keep doing a binder. Which do you think is best? I really still think it depends. So, um, if you're doing a ring, each one of them have pros and cons. And I'll say this, even with having the happy planner system, it still has its pros and cons. It's just, for me, the pros outweigh the cons. I love disc bound planners. I've never been a huge fan of rings. I don't know why. I never could really get into them, into binders. But if you feel as though that works for you, and I really always go back to experiment with it all, but see which one you keep coming back to, because whatever you keep coming back to is the thing that you're going to probably end up sticking with for the long haul. And even if you try and you say, oh, nope, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, that's fine. You just want to give yourself the option to try, because otherwise it just kind of just sticks into the back of your mind and you won't know until you try. It's like when we tell kids, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they're like 5. And it's like, yet whatever they say, they haven't experienced life enough to really know what they want to be when they grow up. Think of that when you're thinking of your planner journey. Like, I could start if I am just starting off as a planner, or even if I've been planning for years, it really doesn't matter, because it depends on what's going on in your life right now. When I was in this a spiral planner, I used an Erin Condren for about 3 years. I used it. I was dedicated to it. I loved my Erin Condren, and then I had a kid. And when I had my baby, life just completely changed, and I needed to customize. I needed to be able to insert pages. I needed to scribble scratch, because I was holding a baby on one hand and I needed to write with the other, and I couldn't. And I couldn't make it work with my Erin Condren planner. And then I just decided, I can't do this. I got to find something else that works. So you could be beginning, and if you're just starting, then think of yourself as that 5-year-old that needs to like experiment and figure out what they want to do, right? Like, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I'm 5. All right. Or you could be going through a life-changing transition, a season, you're getting married, you're having kids, or you're just having a big change in your mindset and you need something different. So it just depends on what's going on at that point in time. Right. So, yeah. Let's see. Thinking about using my goals from 2021 for 2022 because I didn't meet enough of them. Good idea. Of course. Why not? My 2020 goals, y'all, I'm sure half of y'all on here. I took out the page of my 2020 goals and literally just put them in for 2021. I kept the exact same goal because I didn't achieve any of them. I was like, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I was inside all year. So it's fine. Let's just, rinse and repeat. Let's try it again. You use the big as well. Do you use a month at a time for each section? Yes, yes. I know you came in late, Melissa. It's okay. Yes, I use 1 month from each section for every single planner that I have. 1 month. Find it hard to get there. Plan wherever you are. Plan wherever you are. If you feel like you're normally in the kitchen in the morning, plan there. Pull it out on your island. I have done that. I have planned in mainly it will end up being in my office, at my dining room table, or in my bedroom. That's usually just ended up where I am. What's your number one tip on organizing and planning in 2022 with little ones? They can be unpredictable, but I know they thrive off of routines. They do. So my little ones are a little bit older now. They are 7 and 9. So, but when they were toddlers, it was it was challenging. I would only tell them like little things that I know that they could do, right? So we have something in the house where I would say, all right, everything has my oldest is really into science. So we started talking about habitats, right? So I was like, everything has a habitat. Everything has a home. So anytime they would leave something out where it wasn't supposed to be, I would point to it and I would say, hey, what's the home for this thing? Or what's the habitat for this? Where are your shoes supposed to go? What's the home for your? And they would say, oh, it's supposed to be in the closet. Okay, well, let's pick them up and put them in the closet, right? Instead of us just automatically doing it for them, give them the opportunity and praise them, praise them, praise them when they do it. That praise is everything. So anytime I would say, oh, what's the habitat? And then if they did something on their own that I didn't even have to say. I would be like, "Oh my goodness, look at you did it on your own, oh my god!" Like, and make a really big deal out of it. So now they get kind of accustomed, and then a lot of times they would run to me or run to their dad and say, "Look what I did this, I cleaned my room, I did this." And so we always will try to reward them and praise them and give them little things that they know that we know that they can do. So it's like right now it's laundry. So, with my 9-year-old, she can pretty much do laundry. And so we are just like, okay, it's Saturday morning, it's time to do laundry. And once you decide those days and set expectations as much as possible, especially with the little ones. Especially, I know a lot of times we we feel as though only routines kind of go with adults, and telling us ahead of time goes with adults. It really works well with kids. So I would say on a Wednesday, hey guys, Saturday is going to be cleaning day. On Saturday you're going to do this and this. On Saturday I need you to make sure that you take your sheets off your bed, because we're going to wash sheets on Saturday, and we're going to sweep up on Saturday, and this is what's going to happen. So that I'm setting the expectation of what's going to happen, instead of waking them up on a Saturday morning and saying, "All right, time to clean up," and they're like, "I thought I was going to be able to sleep in, and why I got to get up now?" It just causes an argument that you just don't want. So if you want them to, like, set that expectation, set the routine, talk as much as possible to them about what you would like them to do, and try your best to have a home for every single thing. Because a lot of times, if they don't have a specific place to put their clothes, they're going on the floor. They're just gonna go there. Because it's just like us. If we don't have a specific place for something, we're gonna just put it wherever. And you just don't even, like, you don't do it because you're just not thinking about it, right? So same thing with kids. You want to give them as much routine, as many homes as possible, and tell them early. Set those expectations as much as possible. All right. Let's see. Let's try and do one more. How can you use all the different sections in one planner or on a daily sheet? So we're going to talk about that, Nia. I'm glad you asked that question. That is, I want to say it's not this upcoming week, but I want to say it's next week. I am going to do a mock spread. I'm in my hourly planner showing you how to do all of it in one planner. If you don't want all of these different planners, I'm going to do a mock spread to show you how I used to do it and how I broke down the different things that I needed on my daily sheets, and to stay on top of all of my areas. So even though it's not something that I currently do, sometimes I'll do it. Sometimes I will do it. If it's a weekend, I might do it. I might do it this way and break it down. So I will share that with you as well. All right. All right, guys. I know I'm trying to get as many as possible. Um, have you ever made a planner just dedicated to your goals, like yearly? I haven't made an entire planner that's dedicated to it, but I do have the very front section of my current planner that is dedicated to my annual goals. And then I will break them down into habits and routines. And that's kind of how I stay on top of all of them, right? That's how I stay on top of all of them. All right, last one. Do you have any suggestions on how to stay organized for a mom that is doing it all themselves? My husband works away from home, so it's just me trying to do it all. My kids are 4 and 7 months. Ooh, 4 and 7 months. I wanted to tell you this. Don't worry about doing it all. Do what you can. I am going to talk tomorrow. Well, this is for Organize You members, about the myth of doing it all. We can't. No one can do it all. We all just can do the very best that we can with what we have. Let me tell you what's the goal here. And this is something that kind of started this entire journey. And it was when I realized that I wanted to get more time and more freedom and more space in my mind. And I felt like I was super chaotic. Why? Because I was at home thinking about work. So I would be, at home with my babies thinking about, oh, I need to do this project. I need to do that project. I didn't send out this email. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I'm thinking about all the things that I didn't do at work. And I'm getting like, oh, frustrated and overwhelmed, and anxiety is on the rise. Then I would go to work, right? And I'm working on this project or whatever. And now I'm thinking, oh, I didn't do my laundry. What about my babies? I need to do this for my babies. I need to do that. And I need to do this. So it's like, I'm at work thinking about home. I'm at home thinking about work. When I am, trying to wash clothes, I'm thinking about dishes. When I'm thinking about dishes, it's like I was constantly overwhelmed by another area whenever I was trying or whenever I was in one of those areas. So, what this process is when you have a section or when you have a space to brain dump all the things that you need to do in all of these specific areas, what the goal is to focus on the area that you're in while you're in it, right? So at this very moment, I already know when I'm going to do laundry. I know when I'm going to spend time with my family. We have Christmas in the Oaks. We're doing that next week. Me and my husband are going on a date this Friday. It's already set. Those times are already planned. So when I'm talking to you guys, I can be fully talking to you and not thinking about laundry that's going to get done on Saturday, or thinking about the date night with my husband that's going to happen on Friday, or spending time with my kids because I already have it planned. See what I'm saying? So that's what this is about. It's not about doing it all, because you're not going to be able to do it all. But it is about setting time and space for the important things when you need to do those important things. Laundry may not be important all the time, right? I might not be able to get to that because I don't have it. Like, you have a 7-month old, 4-month old, laundry may not get done, or it might get done in bits and pieces. It may not all get done. Maybe we'll do a load here and there, and that's okay, because that's the season that we're currently in. And as long as you have set, you know what, I'm gonna do one load, and if I do that one load once a day, that's all I got right now. It's not all going to get done, but I can do one load because that's the important thing that needs to get done. And I can work on this project for 1 hour. All I got is 1 hour. And it's okay if it doesn't get all done, but you just want to free your mind and give yourself some peace throughout the course of this journey by just deciding, okay, what am I going to do at this specific time? What's important right now? I can focus on what's important right now and schedule everything else later. And even if I can't do it all, it's all already set up. It's all in its own category, and I will get to it when I can, because I'm doing the very best thing that I can, right? Just a little bit. And even with my husband, like, with him, he used to think that, oh, I want him to clean up. I'm like, no, if you just do the dishes, if you just do one thing, if you just did, that's great. I will take that. I am so happy about that. So I think that, when your kids are smaller, you definitely have to give yourself grace. When you're doing it by yourself, you have to give yourself grace. When you have a lot going, when it's a busy season, like right now, right at this very moment, I am in the middle of Vlogmas. I am posting 25 videos every single day. So everything at the house is not getting done. Like, I'm not doing laundry and I'm not doing all the chores. Now, I do try and do two. I'll try and do dishes and laundry every day. But everything else, I'm not going to do a deep clean of my house in the month of December because I'm in the middle of Vlogmas. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. But this is the important thing right now. And then in January, I can do a spring clean. I can do a big cleaning of my house. I can hire cleaners, or, me and my husband can do it, whatever the case may be. You just got to give yourself grace. Got to give yourself some grace. Because if not, you will drive yourself crazy. You will overwhelm yourself. You will get stressed out. You will put all of this emphasis. You'll be close to a mental breakdown. And I know because I've been there where I have pushed myself to try and do something so much. And I got to do it. I got to do it. Everything got to be perfect. I got to be super mom. And now I'm just driving myself crazy and I'm snapping at everybody. I'm just mad. So it's like it's not even worth it because now you're not even your best self. You're just mad and angry and nothing's working and you're all stressed out. So put it in your planner, put it on a list, brain dump it, do the best you can. You can't do it all. Nobody can do it all. No, there's not one person that can do it all. We just do the important things at the moment that we need to do them. So right now, this is the important thing. And I have scheduled all of the other important things. And that way, when I am focused on this thing, I can be focused on this thing and I don't have a million other thoughts running through my mind of all the other things that I have to do. Okay. So that, yeah. And like Tori, that's my husband, y'all. Tori said, sometimes you just have to say, all the thing I've done all that I can for today. So yes, and when I tell you, like sometimes Tori can do it, my husband will do it. Sometimes I'll do it. Sometimes it just doesn't get done. It just we just be like, you know what? Tomorrow. That's tomorrow. We'll just worry about it tomorrow. But it's okay. It's okay, right? And oh, this is good. You have to make sure that you are taking the time for the important things because like Elizabeth says, kids grow so fast, and she's an empty nester now and you have to take time with them. That's the important thing right now. Just love and enjoy the time. You will not be worried about laundry and how you didn't do it when they were 4 months old. You're only going to remember this time that you have right now. Can't do it all, and it's okay. We don't have to. Who says we have to, right? It's a pressure that we put on ourselves. So guys, thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for joining me today. If you have any other additional questions, I am going to, you can email me. If you missed the beginning of this live, it will be saved to my YouTube channel. So you can definitely watch the replay over there. And if you want more information on the Organized You, which is my membership site, make sure that you check out the description box of this video. It will have a link with the Organized You and you can find out more about it. And remember, this week we're talking about all about personal organization. That's what we're talking about this week. So I will see you all throughout the week, 4 p.m. Central. You will have a new video on this channel every single day. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. And I will talk to you later. Bye.